Yo. Action-packed sport weekend. Good evening, everyone. Not on our usual slot, but obviously we just had to make do to speak to you guys, even with the challenges of load shedding itself. Now, Berik, on a Friday evening, hoop je viertjie brand. Je stoom is seker al opgewarm en gereed vir 'n lekker wedstryd vanaand in die URC.
Yep. Storm is about to kick off, so we'll have you all guys ready before the game at the end of the show. So don't worry, you guys will be on time. But yeah, welcome. It's another New York time slot, and it's gonna be. We've got a lot to talk about, Annie. But yeah, let's jam pack it into a powerful episode.
No, for sure. We're well aware that most of you would probably want to tune into the URC game, the Cape Town franchise, the Stormers, in action in about, let's call it about 20-25 minutes, maybe 30 minutes from now, South African time. And we will try and just condense our show. Last night we had to make a call again, load shedding impacting our guest this time being affected by load shedding. But we are relieved to hear that load shedding might just be drop down a little bit today, but we really don't have control over these things, and we don't want you guys to have a look at a substandard show and even our guests being impacted with load shedding. Ons wil nou nie hele met 'n battery koppel om ligte te kry om op die show te kom. So we had to make a plan.
Ja. Maar ek sê, miskien moet ons as 'n gas moet ons miskien die CEO van Eskom inkry, moet net as a guest, and straight from the horse's mouth what is happening. So hoop jy lig ons aan vir daai episode.
Ja, nee, verseker, ons tackle daai issue van load shedding. En ons verduidelik vir hom, let's explain to the CEO the impact it has, especially on our Têkkel show, and how it impacts your normal Thursday viewing. So I hope you are all tuned in. I know die mense so braaivleis viertjies al seker hoog al, en Vrydag nie 'n lekker tyd om voor 'n Têkkel show te sit nie, want daar's soveel ander goedjies wat in die rond te gaan. But I really hope that some of the usual viewers came out. We're going to chat about some Premier League. We have a viewership. Good evening, gentlemen. Hope you guys are well. Altyd lekker. I think we met that gentleman at the 7th earlier in Cape Town. Hy het gekom bladskit. But Berik, we're going to speak about the Premier League. We're going to speak about the Proteas and their prospects going into the T20. Dat gaan maar 'n bietjie van 'n emosionele discussion wees, want ouens is open up. And then we'll have a look at the URC. But a lot of people, obviously, some of them are still a bit skeptical about the URC and whether the URC really benefits the South African franchises. But we'll have a chat about that later on. Let's just have a look, LB, before we speak about the City and Liverpool game. Let's just have a sneak peek at the Premier League log. It's not going to be good viewership or good viewing for myself. You would probably know. Yes, as plus gestop, but hoeveel spanne hy 10?
Nee, hy's 10 ja. So
Liverpool is bottom of the log, die log.
Têkkel nee, kyk hierso, Têkkel se skreen het relegation zone. So Liverpool is nou op hy laaste. Hulle Têkkel se relegation zone sal enter. So yeah, it's tough reading if you're a Pool supporter.
Kon jy nou nie 11de, 12de en 13de plek daar gesit het net om 'n bietjie effek te gee nie, maar daar het julle.
No,
Arsenal leading the pack, and who would have said Arsenal topping the log? They're playing brilliant soccer at the moment and leading Manchester City with a singular point. Manchester City playing Liverpool over the weekend. But I think if you look where Liverpool currently lies, it's going to be very difficult for them to squeeze themselves into the top 4 positions. Really a very poor start to the season for Liverpool, and even very, very surprising to see the likes of Bournemouth and Fulham. I'm pretty sure we won't see them there for long, but they are there, right up in the top 10 of the Premier League.
Yeah, give it up to them. They've shown so far that they've put some long points where it matters. But yeah, so they say we don't know how long they're going to be up there. But you'd expect a team like Liverpool to be up further, way up. But just looking at you speaking about Arsenal. Arsenal had a fantastic season so far. I don't know where Furlough is tonight because his team was flying very high at the moment, and rightly so. They've put some good performance together, and there's a nice energy happening at the moment at the Gunners. So I definitely see them. They could worthy leaders at this point of the season.
No, for sure. Maar ek weet nie if is your log right, because I see Manchester United in 5th place, but I only realize now they are only 5 points above Liverpool. Ek het gedink soos hulle perform, hulle is 25 punte bo kan Liverpool, maar ek sien die punteverskil is maar 5 punte. Maar hulle gemaklik daarso in 5de posisie. 'n Absolute transformation from what we saw last season from Manchester United. Vastly improved performances, and rightfully obviously leading the pack there, chasing the big 4 teams at the moment: Chelsea, Tottenham, Manchester City, and Arsenal. We have Manchester United right there behind them, and hoping this year that they can squeeze themselves back into the UEFA Champions League positions.
And then one of the points that was made early, just in one of the games that was played this week, when looking at the log, was the fact that Liverpool's their points difference to where Arsenal is at this point of the season. No team has actually won the league from so far behind. So it's already a massive lead, for the pool supporters to be catching up. They had a great win against the Rangers this week with that 7-1 win, which is obviously not in the same league, but hopefully that will give them some momentum going into the Premiership and just putting some much needed performances together. Ek wil 'n paar comments wys hy nie, maar ek is te bang as ek 'n comment wys op die skerm gaan Liverpool afgesny word op die skerm man. So
As jy net sê voor ek daar's Liverpool is weg begin op die Brighton. Hy's nog nie eers 'n double figures. It's early days. It's really early days, but Barry, I cannot see Liverpool challenging for this title, not from where they are. The first thing for them is that it's gone. If there is a team, maybe one team that might challenge Manchester City, it's going to be Arsenal. I'll tell you why I say so. I think Tottenham will drop out of this race. They are there on 20 points. I think if there's one team that's going to challenge Manchester City, it's going to be Arsenal. Surprisingly, Arsenal has got 3 Brazilian players whom I thought was going to make the World Cup squad, or should make the World Cup squad for Brazil easily. It's Gabriel Jesus, Martinelli, and the defender is Gabriel. They were left out of the Brazilian side for the friendlies, and I'm not sure whether they'll make the side for the World Cup. Now that will benefit Arsenal immensely if those 3 players remain behind and they don't travel to the World Cup. Obviously, the risk of injury becomes less, and it gives Arteta a chance to work with a bigger group of players to prepare. Because Manchester City, all of Manchester City players will probably, or most of them, will be involved in different, in some form or another in the World Cup. And therefore, I believe that Arsenal is very well placed to give Manchester City a run for their money, and the Arsenal supporters will certainly be rooting for Liverpool this weekend. Liverpool, I don't believe they can stop Manchester City over the weekend. The best result that they can squeeze out of that at Anfield, I think, might be a draw.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Draw.
I think I'm pretty sure City will concede against Liverpool. They will concede a goal. Is net 'n vraag hoeveel goals Liverpool gaan concede. Want daar agter is probleme. They're all over the place in defense. If they can get it right, perhaps to concede only 2 goals against this Manchester City side, I'm not putting it past Liverpool to score 2 goals against it. I think they attack. They're really good. If they have the ball, they can control the game. They can really dictate. I think they have the forwards to match and really test the City's defense. I don't think they'll keep a clean sheet against Manchester City. In fact, I think they're going to concede at least 2 goals. So they need to score 2 or more to win this game, and I'm hoping they can get a point. If they lose this game against Manchester City, Alberic, big problems for Klopp and his side.
And with that said, I mean, you mentioned that a groot probleme achter. Where does the problem lie? Is it Van Dijk? Is it that what combinations? Is it combinations that are working for them? What is it that Liverpool is lacking at the back at the moment, from your point of view?
I think it's synergy. A lot of people speak about the formation. This is not the formation. Remember, this is the formation that won a Premier League. This is the formation that won a Champions League. I think Van Dijk slightly off the boil since his return from injury. He's not the same player. I think he lacks a little bit of pace. There's just a little edge that he lacks after coming back from injury. Similarly, I think Matip is slightly off the boil. I'm going to speak about Trent now because it's a big discussion. I'm the type of guy that says if Trent can give you a 6 out of 10 going forward, and he gives you a 4 out of 10 going back and in defense, you need to balance it out. Yes, he's been poor in defense. Yes, a lot of opposition target that side of Liverpool because they know his slight weakness. But I think Liverpool is good enough. If their centre backs, Virgil van Dijk, Konate, and Matip, if they are on song, they can really protect Trent and really, I would say, hide his weaknesses. But at present, they are out of form. And now all of a sudden, Trent Alexander-Arnold is being compared to some of the worst wingbacks in the league. We know he's one of the best in the world, if not the very best in his position globally. But I think his defensive weaknesses is being exposed. He's out injured now. But I think in defense, it's just about synergy. Liverpool's position could have been much worse if we didn't have Alisson Becker in goal. I think he saved a lot of one-on-one situations because Liverpool's all over the place. And looking forward to the Manchester City game, Alberic, it's probably going to be the biggest challenge. This team smashed Man United. Was die skoor 6-3 of iets en ek weet nie hoe United 3 gekry het nie, maar dit was die telling. This is a team that in Liverpool state, if they don't show up, they're going to embarrass themselves on Sunday.
Yeah, I think with the player like Haaland is at the moment, just that form that he's in, he's gonna just cause havoc at the back there. So hopefully that synergy does come together, come this weekend for Liverpool, because Haaland's just that guy's a beast at the moment. I mean, he's popping up everywhere for the size of his frame. He's just everywhere. And I think he has like pretty high tally on goals. It's probably one of the highest in such an early start of the season in the Premier League. But yeah, it's gonna be tough for Liverpool. I don't know if they should be able to, as a team they should be able to at least have home advantage and put one. Yeah. At least, if it is a margin, if it is a 1-goal margin, then that's a massive win for them, obviously. A draw. Sorry, if it's a draw, at least it's a massive win at the moment the way Manchester's playing.
Yeah, and I think City's setup it's just the worst setup now for Liverpool to face because they have Kevin De Bruyne that can really slip a ball past Virgil van Dijk and Konate and Matip and the like. It's a good pass of the ball. Haaland running onto that. Liverpool playing a high line. There's one way that Liverpool can beat Manchester City. If Liverpool score first, the game is on. Liverpool hasn't scored the first goal in the last 13 matches. Can you believe that? It's a really worrying statistic. They've dropped. As ek weet nie hoekom, miskien is dit 'n hobby en hulle hou daarvan. Kom ons gaan gou agter. Laat ons gewoon net laat hulle gou 'n goal score teen ons. Huh? So if they can score first. Yeah, exactly.
But with that, and you're looking at the players. Do you think even a player like Mane not being there, do you think that played a massive role, especially when it comes to the goal scoring? Because Mane was, phenomenal, on the wing. Do you think that's also playing a huge impact? Them missing Mane.
I think they're missing Mane just because of Mane's conversion rate. I don't think they're missing him much because we have Liverpool, or I'm talking about we because we know I'm a Liverpool supporter. Liverpool's got a lot of attacking options. They can play Jota wide, they can play Luis Diaz is injured now. So they have options. But even Darwin Núñez, if they can just convert their opportunities, Mane, he gets in front of goal. He had that 60-70% strike rate, man. He gets into an area and then he converts that opportunity. Mohamed Salah last season, similar. He's off the boil now. Liverpool still gets in the good areas. I think they're not converting the opportunities. And I think the best two players converting chances now, ironically, is Roberto Firmino playing brilliant soccer at the moment. He gets into good areas and he gets the ball in the net. And I'm very relieved to see Diogo Jota back. I think he's also a guy that is very accurate. Where I think Luis Diaz, very erratic, very fast, but he's not as accurate. And then Darwin Núñez, the new recruit, I think he still needs to find the target. Mohamed Salah is totally off the boil, and I'll tell you why, LB. They figured him out. They cut him off his left foot, and he cannot play off his right. He needs to come back in, and if you give him the chance to come off his left, he's probably going to score. But teams now really focus to cut off his left foot, and that nullifies Liverpool to some extent. So Liverpool, they need to find something else. I believe maybe with a formation change up front, with maybe playing Firmino and Núñez in one team, maybe that will work. Maybe Firmino as a number 10, Núñez as an outright striker to surprise the opposition. But this coming Sunday, they're playing the best club in the world at the moment. And City.
I would say don't tell that to Arsenal. Don't tell that to any Arsenal supporter right now. They're flying very high at the moment. So yeah, it's going to be a fantastic. I think that the tournament itself, looking at the league and being at the marathon, it's good to see this. All these teams. I mean, they had a 2-horse race for the last couple of years between City and Liverpool. And now you have the Arsenal's coming through. Manchester United now putting their hand up, saying that hold up, I'm also there. So it's good to see that kind of competition is going up. And you have the likes of Brighton and Bournemouth also saying, hold up, ek is ook hier so able to getel word. So yeah, it's going to be a fantastic season.
Ek weet nie wat sê die kykers hier. I'm backing Liverpool to come good. I'm backing them to be competitive.
Score. What's your score?
I think the score will be a 2-2 draw between Manchester City and Liverpool.
That's a win. That's a win. So it's a Liverpool win with a draw. 2-2. Okay.
If you think it's a win, I really don't think Liverpool will be able to keep City out, but I think they'll be able to score against City, and I think they'll score more than once. Let's just hoping that they don't. Kyk, as die damwal breek in City, LB. Hy man score hier, Spil Foden is Haaland, is die ou, is die ou. So let's just contain this City and for Liverpool to score first. If they score first, dan iewers skielik is ek meer excited om die game te kyk.
Ja. Kyk, dit het amper gebeur die game teen die United was 4-0. In die eerste helft 4-0 gewees. En ouens en hulle was maar bitter. Ek dink dit is Paul Scholes gewees het. He was in the commentary box at that moment. They weren't too happy at all. So yeah, as maar goed hulle teruggekom om net om 'n bietjie respect te kry op hy Têkkel. But yeah, soos jy sê, as die dam wil breek, dan kan dit maar 'n moeilike aand wees vir Pool.
Yes,
Edmund. Good evening, guys. Straight van die Wesbank. Yes, Wesbank. Ek is 'n Wesbank supporter. Onthou.
Ja, Edmund se span wat natuurlik vroeër die week vir Abbotsdale geklop het in 'n derby wedstryd en gemaklik geklop het. Ek dink 41-12. 'n gemaklike wen vir Wesbank.
Wag. Kom ons praat gou. Wat is sy laaste skoor geweest? Abbotsdale en Wesbank toe ons in toe daar gewees het? It was a
1-point ball, 2-point ball game. Wat was die eindtelling? Was dit 2019?
Wie stap weg met die lowere tussen die derby? En as jy nou points difference check, as ons nou Wesbank, is ek reg?
Ja, as dit weg op point difference, as dit Wesbank wat die jaar wegstap met die lowere. Ja, is moeilijk. Het was moeilijk voor die Abbotsdale boys. Hulle het goed gedoen in die eerste helfte. Was baie tough vir die ouens. Regtig rekenskap gegee van hulle self in die eerste helfte, maar op die einde van die dag dink ek Wesbank net te veel skiet goed op die aand op hulle tuisveld en 'n regtig goeie span, welverdiende voorlopers in die sone op die oomblik en ons hoop dat hulle hierdie jaar beter rekenskap gaan gee van hulle self in die top 12 kompetisie. Hulle was 'n paar keer wat hulle 'n beter span gehad het in my opinie, going into the finals of Boland's let's call it the elite 12, and they didn't get there. This team, I think they are a little bit more expansive. They still need to do the hard yards up front, but they can really run right if they have the ball. Hulle het goeie agterspelers, regtig goeie agterspelers in my opinie. Was lekker so vir Edmund en hy manne baie geluk en ons as Abbotsdale wens vir alles van die beste toe en wees verseker die Abbotsdale span sal in 2023 weer van hulle self laat hoor en definitief glo ek dat hulle vir Wesbank uit en tuis weer ore sal aansien.
We're gonna be there just to check it out. Also on a Grief Kaizen 007 Man of Mystery.
Hy is ook 'n man wat ons gekry het by die Sevens, né? Is dit hy nie?
Nee, dis hy.
Dis hy.
Ja, dis hy. Not my Têkkel op die phone, Stormers op die TV. So yeah, guys, we are checking out time. We're making sure that you guys will be in time.
No, for sure. We'll get out. We'll be out of here before. I think the kickoff is at 8:35.
8:35.
So we will be out. We also want to support the Stormers. I think it's not an easy game for the Stormers. Yeah, but let's just have a look at the URC now that we speak. We have the URC fixtures there. We have it, the Ospreys, the Stormers playing away. Wat is die tyd daar? Ja, Berg, it's 8:35.
8:35, yeah. 8:35, that's correct. 8:35. Sorry, good.
Lions also, that will obviously be taking place tomorrow. We've got the Sharks also playing at home. I'm popping the Sharks to beat Glasgow there. And then the big one, a great fixture, Munster versus the Bulls. Munster not having the start to the competition that we expected, and the Bulls having some momentum. This is going to be a cracker of a game.
Yeah, no, for sure. I think that's my pick for the weekend in terms of quality games. I mean, they're all quality games. But Munster, one of Ireland's best teams, and obviously they've shown over the years that they had a in different seasons so far. But I mean, it's still early days. They definitely pick up in Munsters. Again, I'm not too sure if Damien Allendale will be playing. Or has he moved already, or is he still there? I'm not too sure. But is he still there?
No, he's still there. I'm not sure if he's been selected to play against the Bulls.
Yeah. So it's going to be a big game. And again, they're playing home. So yeah, I mean, looking at 2 home games for the SA teams and 2 away games. And if you're just looking at those games, it's going to be tough for all the teams. I mean, you even look at the Lions Ulster game. Dwayne Vermeulen is also playing, or he'll be in the squad as well. He's just traveling to South Africa. So that's going to be a big game as well. And then also the Sharks. I mean, Glasgow Warriors, did they played pretty good last week. So they'll definitely want to show themselves against the Sharks. And yes, even Etzebeth, as sad as we Stormer supporters are, will be playing for the black and white of the Sharks. So it's going to be interesting to see how he pitches up in his first game. I think it's like 2 years or 3 years that he has last played in a league game in South Africa. So it'll be good to see him playing again on home turf.
No, for sure. And I bet we're doing better. Let's have a look at that lock. We're doing a little bit better. We have doing last year, this time, we were really struggling in this competition.
Yeah.
This time, there we have it. We have the Stormers in the let's say I don't want to say third place, but it is third place. But let's call it the upper section of the log. We have the Bulls in the upper section of the log. Right behind them, we have the Lions right there, and we have the Sharks right behind Glasgow Warriors. They are very, very well placed. If you look at the Sharks on 10 points, the Lions 13, 14 for the Bulls, and the Stormers very well placed on 15 points. It lijkt beter, ja, Berk. Het lijkt bietjie beter.
Yeah, 100%. Especially if you look at compare it to last season. Last season, we had a absolutely horrible start, and SA teams were fielding each other going into the last stretch of the tournament, and they obviously picked up very well. So the start could just bode well for them. And the fact that we SA teams are laying ahead. For me, the team so far that's been quite impressive has been the Lions. The Lions have actually been some youngsters that have been coming through. There's some players there that are really putting the names up. And some guys that they've been playing without the big name for a while now. And this year it seems like they're coming together quite nicely. There's a very exciting center for the Lions that's playing some good rugby at the moment. So I'd like to see where they're going to be heading off towards the end of the season in terms of what actually happens, because it's a marathon at the end of the day. There's quite a lot of teams they're going to be playing against. So yeah, let's see where they end up. But so far looking good for the SA teams, and so hopefully they can keep the momentum going on to the later rounds as well.
No, for sure, and especially if you look at the youngsters playing, and you mentioned, I think the center that you're speaking about, his surname is Van Wyk, playing very well for the Lions. We have Sasa Ngomezulu playing very, very well for the Stormers. You have a player like Jonan Hendrikse playing very, very well at number 10 for the Lions. You have his brother that I believe is going to play quite a few tests for the Springboks, playing at scrum half for the Sharks. You have Grant Willemse that caught my eye at the Sharks. There's quite a few youngsters. There's quite a few youngsters, and I'm excited about this because they are playing in positions, and those players I've mentioned specifically, Ivan Roos coming through the ranks, they are playing in positions where the Springboks, we know after the World Cup, they need to replace a few players. Ivan Roos at number 8, he would probably, I would say, chase down Jasper Wiese for that number 8 position if Dwayne Vermeulen retire. I think Hendrikse at scrum half has surpassed Faf. I think the other Hendrikse at fly half with Sasa and Ngomezulu, I think they're going to pass Pollard very, very soon as perhaps test number ones at fly half. And then at center, we know we're struggling to find a replacement for Lucanio Am. All of a sudden, we have this guy called Van Wyk really coming through the ranks. And hopefully, they can remain injury-free. And this competition will just expose them to that UK conditions that we need if we do go on tour. I'm a bit worried about the Lions against Ulster. Let's give them the benefit of the doubt. I think the Lions can still be a better unit up front. I think they really have the backs with Gianni Lombard, Hendrikse, and those guys running riot at the back. But I think they should try and focus a little bit more on their forward play. But they will be tested against Ulster over the weekend. Hopefully they get it right.
100%. I think again, like you mentioned, it's going to be a big test for them. And if they can pull it through, again, that's going to bode well for them for the rest of the season. They're building nice momentum, and I really hope, especially with where they ended up last year, that they do, bring that fire. I mean, the Lions had this tenacity along with them, and they've done that over the many years. They've brought players through the ranks, and they actually showed that they're worthwhile competitors when it got to the Super Rugby, when the guys like Faf was on form, Alton Jantjies was running rampant, Jaco Kriel and those guys. So they got the tenacity to do it, and hopefully this season could be the one that they start kind of find each other and break through.
Yeah, I know for sure. And the youngsters' performances will obviously put them in good stead for selection for the end of the year tour. It's not going to be an easy tour for the Springboks. They are playing a few big nations, and the hand, obviously, of the youngsters will be up high for Rassie Erasmus and Jacques Minaber and the selectors to see them. And if you look at those fixtures, yes, it's big names. They're playing Ireland, France, and Italy. You would on a normal day you would probably think the Springbok to walk them. But the England, France, and Ireland games vitally important for the Springboks to if they have to lose one, they should probably. I'm looking at that France victor, and I'm thinking and we spoke about this. This French team is really a threat. I'm looking at them. Yes, they are indifferent in their performances. Yes, they don't arrive on the Saturday each and every game. But I think we're looking at the potential World Cup finalists if I'm looking at that French team on paper at the moment.
Yeah, no, I think that knowledge, that saying of the the French are indifferent. This last 2 years, they've actually been showing that they've been very consistent. They've been winning most of the games, and they've shown like a very like big upward curve. So I definitely think they're going to be contenders going into the World Cup. And again, if there's ever games that the SA wants to put as a statement, then it would be those games.
Yeah, no, for sure. Not with taking away from the SA Island. We know what Ireland did in New Zealand a few months ago, and then obviously England hoping to just change their momentum going into Rugby World Cup. It's going to be mouth-watering rugby at the end of the year tour, and the midweek games also not very easy games, but we're hoping to see some youngsters getting a chance there, and hopefully putting up their hand for selection for the Rugby World Cup coming up soon. So we're really, really looking forward to see the Springboks going on tour, and who knows? Who knows? Uh, Perhaps we'll see a star in the making when it comes to our younger players getting opportunity to perform. Now, Beric, we need to obviously, yeah, we need to rush it up, but we need to we must do it. Ek weet nie of hulle kan help nie, maar kom ons sê vir die Proteas T20 span alle voorspoed vir die T20 World Cup. The team has been selected. Yes, man. They've got so much potential. Really, this team has got so much potential, and I think it's key players dropping this team now, and I'm hoping they come good in the World Cup.
Yeah, no, for sure. I think yeah, no, for sure. I think they. With this momentum, with us, the fact that they just blasted, they've got a lot of things happening, and there's a lot of stuff happening off, off the field, which is, like, for example, Temba performance. I mean, with regards to not making the Mzansi League, or what's it, the T20 League in South Africa, and all that. There's a lot of things going on, and hopefully they can find that there's nothing like showing the world that we're here by winning a World Cup. So if there's a statement that we want to make, then it is then. So hopefully they can do it, and we're backing them still all the way. No matter what happens, we back them all the way, and we surely hope, that they'll bring it through.
Yeah, no, for sure. It's just I think Kaizen just saying falling on your sword is not a bad thing. He's talking about the Proteas.
Yeah.
My concern is they have a good side. They have a good side. This side is made up really. It's on paper they have a good side. The top order can fail, and they still have a Heinrich Klaassen and especially a Miller to come in and whether they're chasing or putting up the score. The big problem is winning a World Cup. If you make it to the playoff games, you need to win a straight streak of games to make it to the final and win the final. It's not a series. So once you're in the quarterfinal, you need to win quarterfinal, semi-final, and final back to back. This is a problem. That is a problem. So, hulle kan nie vir India wen 3-0. Hulle kan nie vir Sri Lanka wen 3. They're going to put up a score of 110 in one of the games. Now that is the problem in winning World Cups. You win series, drop a poor performance here and there. But you string up a few good performances, get through the pool phases, all of a sudden you're in the finals. The reality is you need to then win 3 or 4 games in a row. Die span kan dit nie eenvoudig net doen nie. They've proven it over and over. We're going to back them again. I've seen the series now again. They all of a sudden they have Miller hitting a century. The next game they are just totally poached. And it's 2 days apart, Barry. And I think that is the problem. Consistency. You can't have the same performance week in and week out. But you need to be there and thereabout.
Ja, maar hulle begin amper hulle die eerste toets verloor hulle van amper elke toetsreeks wat hulle speel. Behalwe wat Engeland gebeur het, they win brilliant on Lords. The 2 test matches they lose easily. And then you look at what they, the beginning of the year, they lost the first game against India. They came back brilliantly. So whether they slow starters or they too fast and they relax, they can't just keep that pace going, even on a series. So to your point, yes, to the whole entire tournament, they're going to have to be putting performance together consistently to make them world champions. You cannot be called world champions if you can't put at least 5 games together, especially when it comes to knockout games.
No, for sure. So we're wishing them well. Yes, we're wishing them well. We hope that they can win. Ja, as jy wil nou die Stormers gaan kyk. So ons gaan amper groet. Ons gaan net vir julle sê, check our Facebook page en daar was baie mense gesê ons weet was daar so 'n paar wenners van ons rugby jerseys. As mense wat gesê het hulle wil van die merchandise koop, daar het ek my hoodie aan. Ek voel so 'n bietjie, so klein bietjie verkoue. Is nie koud hier in Mamasbury nie. Ek is so klein bietjie verkoue. Ek het 'n hoodie aan. Ja, Barry het natuurlik ons Sabbele met 'n rugby jersey aan. Ons het golfers. So ons gaan, jy weet, dit is maar die goedjies wat ons dra na events toe. Die mense het vir ons gesê, hey, luister, julle lyk mooi, ons wil soos julle lyk. So check 'n bietjie ons Facebook page uit in die komende week of 2. Ons gaan vir julle van ons merchandise beskikbaar stel om te koop. Dan kan julle lyk soos ons lyk en dan kan julle bestellings insit en natuurlik van ons merchandise koop. En dan weer eens geluk net aan die Superbroe wenners. Julle klere is in die maak, julle klere is op pad na julle toe en kyk 'n bietjie rond op ons Facebook pages, op ons Twitter pages, op YouTube en miskien kan julle ook een van hierdie lieflike kledingstukke wen. Daar het julle subscribe net daarso op LB, wys gou vir hulle daarso, lyk ons daar kan julle al die vorige shows gaan kyk. Julle kan 'n bietjie daarso saam met ons sê wat werk nie. And also to invite us to some of your events, to cover some of those events and make sure that you get the, let's call it the marketing or just some exposure for your good deeds. Next week we'll have another guest on our show. Let's hope. Ons kom ons duime vas hier by die load shedding gaan nie impakteer nie. Dan gaan ons volgende week aan hy gas gesels. En seker maar dat ons weer 'n gas op ons program kry. Jou Stormers se prediction, ek is seker away from home is not going to be easy, but I'm hoping that the Springbok, the Stormers comes good. They playing a good brand of rugby at the moment.
Yeah, no, exactly. I think they play some fantastic rugby. En ek hoop Jacques, nie maar as jy die show kyk, want ons weet jy kyk die show, asseblief. You want to see rugby? The Stormers has it. Not to mention,
we're not
gonna. We don't have any favoritism on the show. We're unbiased. But yeah, look, we all back our SA teams, and it's just good to see it's a month of youngsters coming through, and it's gonna be great to see how they pull through, throughout the season. So yeah, let's keep on backing our teams, and yeah, SA teams all the way.
No, for sure. Guys, thanks for tuning in. As promised, we just wanted to chat to you. We just didn't want to have a blank week. Let's hope we can chat Thursday evening on our normal slot at 8 o'clock. We'll have a guest and we're hoping that you tune in. So vir die wat online was, ek weet Vrydag is 'n moeilike dag, 'n moeilike aand. Thanks for coming out. Beric, thanks to you for always being my partner. And making sure that everything that you see on screen, graphic-wise, is die hande werk van die Beric daar in die agtergrond. So bye, dankie. And then also a special shout out to all the staff in the back end that's making sure that we get the information through to Têkkel chat. And hopefully then on Thursday we'll have another chat. Aan die Stormers, aan die Sharks, die Lions, en die Bulls en dan mees belangrik aan Liverpool. Hey, manne, vat vas. Tot volgende week donderdag, ja, Beric, stay safe. Keep well. We'll chat again. Cheers.